When I drive down the west side, my heart still flutters when I see this piece of steel in the Hudson. My name is Gerald Fiola.
I love it.
I was 20 years old when I joined the Navy.
I'm 18 years old, I want to go fight.
I was young, 17.
I was 18 years old.
I wanted to get in the battle and defend my country, fight for it.
When I saw the Intrepid for the first time, I shook my head. I said, that thing is humongous.
Nothing that big could possibly float.
My buddy Smitty and I, we climbed aboard, we got lost, and just fell in love with this ship. Love on first sight. Well, that was the worst day. And the fires became so intense all around us. Well, there was a knot of men all coming up from the hangar deck, and some wounded and half burned, and you knew them. You knew their hopes, and you knew their aspirations.
We went out and went to sea, and we won a war.
The ship itself had a very remarkable life.
It had incredible missions throughout its history, the Intrepid, for 75 years now.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
We were in the Cold War. We practiced the launching of conventional weapons, but we also practiced low-level simulated strikes into the Soviet Union with nuclear weapons.
We went from one crisis to another crisis. We were in serious territory, and we acted. It was an exciting time aboard this ship, the beginning of spaceflight. Scott Carpenter inside that capsule, and we were there. The ground forces in the Army and the Marines, we were taking a lot of casualties in Vietnam.
The Intrepid went to Vietnam 3 times, 66, 67, and 68.
Very disappointing when I first heard that it was heading toward the scrapyard.
Thank God for the Fisher family. This ship could have been razor blades now.
So the Intrepid Sea Air and Space Museum is truly a bridge, and through the lens of history, we can actually connect the past to the future.
Is in use today. These ships still use.
These things are not relics. They're as inspirational as they were 7 decades ago, and they're very important and relevant to that next generation of engineers, scientists, and the problem solvers. Thrust and gravity and lift, all these concepts of flight are available to learn.
To fly is change the amount of lift generated on her wings.
It's such a sensory experience. You can still smell the oil. My name's Nick Lawrence. I'm an assistant principal at a school in the South Bronx. This is the 5th year our students will be coming to the Intrepid. If you're in this space where things were happening, it's easier to think about and really envision what people were going through.
What's your ages, guys?
16.
Wow. In 1967, in the war zone, this ship was run by your age group. Think about it. That's why you would come in as a kid and you left as a man, because you had to.
You're able to visualize how the events would affect you.
Seeing the planes and things that were around during the time that you're learning about in a textbook, like, it's crazy to me.
I found it magical. During Kids Week, we met a veteran who actually served on the Intrepid, and he was telling us stories like how they used to eat out of their helmets.
I think lessons are learned from history. I think it's great that, you know, children come and see the ship as it is now and all the exhibits here.
For me, Intrepid is a compelling place to think about history. This little piece of metal is a piece of shrapnel. It lodged in the hip of a sailor named Edward Winfrey, who was on the flight deck at the time Intrepid was struck by a kamikaze aircraft. Supporting the Intrepid Museum allows us to preserve and present history, not just to our audiences who come here today, but also for future generations. Audiences down the road can ask their own questions about Intrepid's history.
The mission that it's on now will never end. If people keep giving and supporting this ship, it'll go on forever. It's alive and living in Manhattan. In Manhattan, when I'm on the flight deck in the evening and the lights come on the city, are you kidding me? It's an incredible experience.